Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of New Level Relationships. I'm your host, Martinique Brown, and I'm so excited that you guys have decided to tune into the show today. I'm so excited because we are talking about something I feel that is very important. And the reason why I feel that is just a really important topic is because I really just don't understand it. So today we're actually talking about signs that you are in a toxic and unhealthy relationship. And the reason why I want to talk about this topic specifically is because I know that I had my bouts with a guy, and we're not going to say his name because we ain't gonna put him on blast. But looking back, I felt that if I would have pursued this relationship, I think that that relationship really would have went downhill, and I think I would have accepted the things that he was doing to me. And this was before we even decided to be in a relationship. So just to reel y'all in so you can stay tuned, that's what we're talking about today. Signs you are in a toxic or unhealthy relationship. And like I said, I actually have Coach Abby here on the show today. She's a Christian dating coach. And so she's going to just speak some knowledge to this topic, as well as really just help individuals that's in a toxic or unhealthy relationship, just help them to have a better understanding of how they can get out of this relationship and what signs they can begin to look for if they're just dating someone right now. Also, all of our contact information is in the description box. Make sure you follow our Facebook page, as well as make sure that you also subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Martinique the Storyteller. We're both on Instagram. Make sure you go ahead and follow us on Instagram as well. And I know that you just saw Regina just pop up, and I know y'all thinking, who in the world? What is she doing on the show? So Regina is an individual that I've known for a very long time. And recently I found out that she used to be in a toxic relationship. So I just thought it would be cool that she would be able to just give her perspective on just what type of toxic relationship she was in. And some of you all that's watching the show, you may be, wondering like, man, maybe I am in a toxic relationship. Maybe I do need to get out of this thing. So before we get started into the questions, Coach Abby, if you could go ahead and just let the viewers know a little bit more about yourself, as well as your area of specialty as a Christian dating coach.
All right. Thank you, Martinique. So yeah, everyone. Hello, my name is Coach Abby, and I am a Christian dating coach. And what I specialize in is I help single Christian women. I coach them on how to prepare to attract their God-fearing husband. So I have a group coaching program that's a 8-week program called Wifey Boot Camp. And in Wifey Boot Camp, we have 4 stages where I go through how to help you ladies prepare and to meet that man that God has for you. Okay, so outside of being a Christian dating coach, I'm also a wife of going on 7 years to my wonderful husband, and then we also have a son. So I'm pretty busy there. So my baby boy toddler, so he definitely keeps us busy.
And so let the viewers know a little bit more about the Wifey Boot Camp, if you can.
Any single Christian ladies that are looking to join a community of like-minded women that are ready to prepare for their God-fearing husband, please join me in my free Facebook group called Wifey Boot Camp 1. Okay, so in Wifey Boot Camp, I go over 4 stages. The first stage is I help you to unleash your unique characteristics that will instantly attract him to you, right? So you could be in a room full of women, and I'm going to help you bring out your unique traits where he'll only have eyes on you, okay? That sounds great, right?
It does.
Yeah. And so then after that, we go through the next stage on how to discover those underlying struggles that keeps you attracting the wrong type of men. So I say hashtag no more cheaters, hashtag no more mama's boys, hashtag no more unsaved men. I'm going to help you discover those underlying struggles while you keep attracting those wrong type of men. And then the third stage, I help you create an instant attraction plan that will instantly help you attract your perfect match, right? The man that God has for you. And then that last stage, I help you to release your feminine power in order to call in your king. So there's 9
Understood.
unique character traits that a single woman needs to have in order to attract that man. So that's what I go through in that last stage.
That is awesome. So
Yeah.
we actually have a couple people that has tuned into the show. We are giving a shout out to Patricia and Trina and everybody else that did not comment but's watching. Um, don't be shy, because that is honestly the way that we make this show a lot more interactive. You can post your questions and your comments. And so you have Coach Abby here, so you better utilize her. But you don't know this, Coach Abby, but I saw she had an Instagram post and it said, what did you do to go out today? And I was looking like, I didn't go out today because I'm single, guys. Because she's really just trying to get us, out there. Like, because I know one of my friends, she had a post and it said something like, okay, I understand. You're not gonna go out. I guess you're gonna meet your husband when he break into your house.
There you go.
It makes sense.
I wish it was that easy, but it's not.
Well, I don't want him breaking my window.
Right.
We just meet at the grocery store. But what I do want to ask you ask Regina and Coach Abby, why do you think people actually stay in unhealthy or toxic relationship? And either one of you guys can go first.
You go ahead, Regina.
Okay. One of the reasons why, to be honest, sometimes when it's toxic, you don't know that's toxic. Sometimes you witness that behavior or that type of relationship your entire life. Maybe your parents were in it, or your friends are in that type of relationship, or just the fear of not being single. For me personally, it was I noticed it, but I didn't notice it. If you get what I'm saying, so I didn't even know until it was totally over. That after like some months, and I looked back and I was like, wow, this is really toxic. This is really bad. Like I knew that it was bad. Like I knew there were things that were bad about it, but I didn't really realize how toxic and how abusive it was, because it wasn't the sense of, hey, he's hitting me type of thing. And so when you don't have something that's directly in front of your face, sometimes it can be harder to recognize when you're in a toxic relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with what Regina said. If it's not out there like a physical or verbal, sometimes you don't know, it could be emotional. And a lot of times women believe that they stay in a relationship believing that they can change a man. And so that was the issue for me. It was always that little tinkle in the back of my mind, well, maybe he'll change, I'll give it a little bit longer, maybe if I do this, he'll change, maybe if I do that, he'll change. So it's always that constant like cycle of like hope that this person would change, but they just don't. And like Regina said, a lot of times it becomes a pattern and you think it's normal because maybe that's something you've seen growing up, or maybe that's around you. So you just learn to accept it, thinking that this is just the way that it is.
I think one more thing is that in my situation, you had like two spectrums. So we love hard and then we fought hard. So the love hard part, it's all that lovey-dovey, and he knows how to meet my needs and all this kind of stuff. And so you get the reward in a psychological sense, like you have this reward of love, and then you're like, I've never loved someone this intensely before. And then on the other side, you're like, it's dysfunctional. And that was kind of like the standard that was set for me with that person in the beginning, because initially I told that person, like our first argument, I was like, I don't do dysfunction. And he said to me, well, if we need to argue it out and all this kind of stuff, then that's what we're going to do. You know, and I bought into that mentality, you know, super early on. And, you know, 3 years later, we're still going through that.
But you're not in that relationship now, are you? Or you are?
No.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, Coach Abby, let's get her out this bad boy.
That was like probably 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't even know. Yeah.
Okay. So how would someone know they're in an unhealthy relationship if this is the type of relationships that they grew up around? And I know you guys just talked about that, but can you talk about that more in detail?
Okay, so actually in my coaching program, I talk about the 3 C's. And the 3 C's are centered around how do you know if he's the one. So if you see these patterns that are continuing to happen in a relationship, you know, then you need to question if he's really, you know, the one. So the 3 C's are if you're in a compromising relationship, right? So you're always compromising your values, you're always compromising your beliefs to try to please this person. That's one sign to know that you're in an unhealthy relationship. The second one is controlling. You know, someone is always controlling the relationship. There's not, there's not a balance, you know, right? One person is always, you don't have a voice in that relationship. So that's a second way to know. And then just the third thing, being a Christian, if the relationship is not Christ-centered, you're always going to be bumping heads. So that's all you know that you're in an unhealthy relationship, because you're not going to be able to move forward if you're, you know, trying to go to church and get, you know, closer to Christ, and then this other person's on the other side, and all you're going to be doing is just tugging each other all day, every day, because of that spiritual disconnect.
Mm-hmm. And I think that even, you know, I think one thing for us as Christian women, we can be wary about, I like Abby's first 2 C's, compromise and controlling, because I would say, I guess I can't say it 100%, but even in the Christian faith, you know, men in the Christian faith, you end up bumping into those same types of situations with men within the Christian faith. So yes, they can be Christian. I mean, for a certain period of time, I was like, maybe I don't even want to date Christian men anymore, because, you know, I'm running into this. Mm-hmm. I probably someone like that's more accommodating, you know, like if they weren't a Christian, you know, which, I mean, clearly it's not the truth, because you'll be compromising on other things. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that, like, those two, I was going to just be like, ditto at first. Ditto, what she said. Compromising, controlling, because those are things into, and those are good red flags to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And like the controlling part, do you think that we sometimes make excuses for the controlling aspect of it? Because we'll say, oh, he just really care about me. That's why he's doing such and such. You know, why do we do things like that? Or, you know, what do y'all think some of those lies we tell ourselves, when in actuality, it really is just them being controlling?
So a lot of women, right, the main goal is marriage. So, you know, we want marriage, we want to have a family, you know, for those ladies that want kids, for those ladies that do have kids, you want to, you know, have a man come in your home and be that provider and that protector, you know, for your kids. So if that's what we want, you know, we're going to try to get that, you know, at some women at all, you know, costs as possible, just to say that, you know, we have our husband, and hopefully, and hoping that man would change. In all reality, men don't change because you get married. You know, a lot of women get married because they believe that the man is going to change, but it just gets worse. So I think it's because they want to get that end goal. They may see friends getting married, family members, they may feel pressure by, oh girl, you don't have no kids yet, you don't have no man yet. So they like, I'm gonna make this thing work, and I'm gonna make every excuse in the book to try to make this thing work in order to get what I want, and that's a husband, and that's, I want a family.
And there may be other reasons, like say for example, he has some type of shortcoming or different thing like that, and you already know that as a woman, a lot of times they say, either men are intimidated by us or different things like that, and so you think about these different factors, and you don't want to become that status quo or the stereotype of the woman, and you don't want to seem like the shallow person and different things like that either. So it's harder for you to walk away because it's like in your brain, in one side you kind of want to walk away, and you do, but then on the other side you have like this tug, like don't be this shallow person, don't be this, don't be that. Where in reality there's a lot more that's going on. Like mine, a big piece of my situation was control. And so it was about like, I don't want you to do this. I don't want you to wear these types of clothes. I don't want you to, that type of thing. Like once it started getting to the type of clothes stuff, like I knew then,
okay.
That type of thing. Part of it, I said it was my fault because of something that I said, to him and that type of thing. But in reality, it was his insecurity, that led to like all the dysfunction. And when you look back at it, there was a lot of dysfunction. And then the other side, I also knew, to be honest, that there were some toxic things about me that I placed on him. So both of us have things. I can't just say, it was only him being toxic. Like I'm toxic too. So both of us going at it, how can I always fault you if I have like some faults too?
Yeah. But I guess I'll just, okay. So like I said in the beginning of the show, there was this guy that I'm like a sucker for a attractive guy. Like if you're attractive, then I look past some stuff. And like looking back, I'm like, Martinique, what is the deal? And honestly, I had to look back at my childhood and how I grew up and what I saw my dad do sometimes. And then I think that I thought that was normal, but don't. So yeah, that was then. This is now. But I just never understood, like, is it a nice way that the person says, okay, don't wear that? Or, because I just feel like, I'm grown.
Like there's no such thing as a nice way for you to say don't wear.
Well, I'm saying, like, do they even try to sugarcoat it in it being that you'll say, oh, well, why don't you wear such and such? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Instead of just saying, oh, you ain't wearing that.
They could probably be like, hey, baby, I just saw this real nice dress in the mall and just decided to pick it up, or why don't you try it on? Just continue to give the compliments, and then they start buying more and more of your clothes. So it's like, maybe that's may not notice it at first. You may think, oh man, he's so romantic. He buy my clothes, what style I wear, but not knowing that it's a subtle way of being controlled as far as how he wants you to dress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that like we have to keep our eyes open for like all those things, right? Yeah. So I'll talk about my current relationship. My boyfriend told me early on that he doesn't like women to dress him, right?
He doesn't like women in dresses?
He doesn't like women to dress him.
Oh, okay.
From the other side. And so I took that to heart, you know what I mean? Like I may not necessarily love what he wears all the time, but I'm sensitive to the fact also though that he doesn't want women to dress him. So I'm not just gonna like go and tell him, oh, don't wear this or oh, don't wear that. Now, if he wears something that I really think looks good, I'm like, oh, babe, that looks good on you. Or eventually he started warming up to the situation like, hey, we're going to go shopping. I'm just going to let you pick out everything. I'm going to try it all on, and then like he boosts his confidence like while we're there. I'm like, oh, yeah, I see that, But I'm sensitive to him and I'm also sensitive to his style. Okay. So I'm not trying to necessarily fit him. Yeah, I'm trying to fit him in my box that I like. But at the same time, I'm being really sensitive to him and to his desires because, it's not about me. I mean, it's not 100% about me. It is, I think that word, when we talk about compromise, I like what Abby said, compromising your values and your standards and different things like that. That was a big part of the controlling piece because it would be something that I actually liked. He was like, if I knew you wore strapless shirts, I wouldn't even have dated you in the first place. You know what I mean? And so I like this, but you go to this next level and you're like, I wouldn't even have dated you, so now I'm gonna lose you if I wear this that I like. You know what I mean? I feel like I have enough sense myself to know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. So pretty much in all these instances, you're calling me less than a woman.
That's interesting. So if somebody that was watching the show, they really wanted to just really assess their relationship to see if they are in an unhealthy relationship, what are some of the questions, Coach Abby, you think that they should begin to ask themselves?
Yeah, so I would just again go back to your beliefs, values, and goals, right? So you really have to know what those are for yourself and really stand strong on those. So if you're, I'm just trying to think of an example. I'm sure I can't think of one on the top of my head, but if it goes against it, well, let's say, church or have a relationship with God, right? So if that is your belief, believing in God, and this guy could say, well, I don't know if I believe in God. In my childhood, I've had some issues with God, and I don't know. Why don't you come to uh, this other religion here? Let's just try this out and see. I'm just trying to find him. I just really want to know, if this is really for me, just really standing strong. Now, if you know that is your belief in God is important to you, don't try to, appease him. Let's say, okay, you know what, let's just take a break while you go find God, and I'm gonna be over here, knowing who God is to me, and that's important, so try not to appease that man just because he's trying to find yourself, because you can't play his savior, you can't play God. That's something that he needs to figure out on his own. So really understanding, just using that example, your beliefs, your values and goals. Like, another example I just thought about is if you want kids, ladies, if you want kids, if a man does not want kids, don't make him try to change this man, to want kids. Because men are usually upfront. My husband tells me this all the time. It's women that are complicated. Men say what they mean and what they want. If he's telling you that he does not want kids, stop trying to go into the relationship, because a lot of times, women can be controlling too, in the relationship, where she's trying to push him, to have kids. And if he says that that's not what he wants, then that you're not in a healthy relationship, because you guys are not on the same page, right? You're not sharing the same goals of wanting children. So let him go his way, and you pray and not seeking, but position yourself to meet another man that may, want the kids that you desire.
Yeah, and I think that it would be, I don't know, that's a conversation I be having with my potential mates. Second time we talking on the phone, because I don't want to waste nobody's time, and I don't want my time wasted. Right. So, but I'm not. Go ahead. What was you about to say?
No, I was going to say it just goes back to trying to change somebody. You trying to prolong the relationship because you may see other qualities in him that you really like, except for, dang, it's just this child thing. So let me see if I can try to, put certain things in him, or, make him see things my way in order, or maybe we'll get married, he'll want a baby, so it's always that, we just can't let that one thing, go.
I think you have to know yourself.
You have
to know your deal breaker. So what happened, me and the guy that I was talking to, the toxic relationship with, even though I went back to him, there was a middle period where we broken up for 5 months, right? And so during that 5 months, I did a lot of pouring into myself, like raising my self-esteem, all this kind of stuff. Actually, a lot of it came from watching YouTube videos, makeup tutorials, and just because that was my biggest thing, is self-image and, how I look or whatever. So I got that part together. It was like, I don't need anybody else's validation anymore. And so it was easier to walk away. but you need to know like your deal breakers. You need to know what's your nice to have, but like not necessarily, 100%. Like if they don't have some of these things, like I'm gonna say it again, my boyfriend, like his style isn't the greatest all the time, but to be honest, like I'm okay with that. Like he is a sensitive guy. He's great. He's there all the time. He's like he's a Christian. He goes to church. He serves in church. Not just that you go to church, you serve in church.
That's important.
All that stuff, and so you have like all these different things that line up with him. He doesn't come to you with the okie doke. Like if somebody texts you hello beautiful in the morning now, you might as well just hang up on the phone with them because that's like okie doke, So like all these different things where they show you they're making the time and the work and the energy, but a lot of it comes back down to knowing yourself, knowing what you will take, knowing what you don't take. Like I have dating rules, quote unquote. So like I don't pay, like especially in the very beginning, I don't pay for dates. Like it's not no half pay, I don't pay for dates.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we are literally going into this with a marriage mindset, then I expect you to be able to know how to be the provider, right? And that's one of my standards. And so if you're coming at me like, well, I don't know you yet, so I don't know if I want to pay. Well, then you're not going to get to know me.
Right.
That's the type of thing. Like they open the doors. They know that I stand at a door, and I make them.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Because of the fact that you start to instill some expectations and some standards in their head, as time goes on, and like even now that like some of my things are lowered for my boyfriend, he still holds them extremely high just from the beginning. And so I'm like, you don't have to open the car door anymore. And he still like walks over, opens the car door.
That's good.
Yeah.
Don't tell him to stop doing that. I like when
change that.
I know.
I love seeing guys do that. But Abby and Regina, what does a toxic relationship really look like if there's no physical abuse? Because I think that people that may watch this show, they could say, oh, well, he's not hitting me, or she's, she ain't doing such and such. So we all right. And like, I think that was a good thing that you said, Regina, about, what did you say? You said something like, we fight it out, and I think that, how people say, well, you're going to have your good days and your bad days in relationships. Mm-hmm. But I think that we allow that to be an excuse. And sometimes it crosses the line to being an unhealthy relationship. And we just brush it off as, oh, every relationship has their ups and downs. So what does a toxic relationship even look like if there's no scars, no visible scars on a person?
Watch Love and Hip Hop. I seriously think about that anytime I watch it. I'm like, women, especially the younger ones, they aspire to be this bad bee, all these types of things, and I look at Love and Hip Hop and I'm like, this is where people are getting their examples of what a good relationship is. You see it play out on your Facebook timeline, like, oh, but your man DMing me in my inbox and all this kind of stuff. Like we've made it cute to be toxic, and it's not cute.
Yeah, it's just those verbal and emotional scars, where you become out of character, right? So that's another sign of being in a toxic relationship. If people don't even, like your close family and friends don't even know who you are, like, Martinique, Regina, who are you? That is a sign that you're in a toxic relationship when people don't even recognize, who you are, when you're like trying to keep up with this man's demands and what he feels like should work for you all, because it made me think about, Love and Hip Hop. Like you said, Regina, like a lot of those women are trying to keep up, with the status quo with their relationship, being that next hip hop wife, or, by doing it in the wrong ways when they don't even know themselves. Girl, a lot of them be going on Ayana, and Ayana, she, having to break them down because they turn into something they never knew that they didn't know because they were so busy trying to play that role. So yeah, there wasn't maybe not a lot of physical abuse, but you can definitely tell the verbal and just emotional mental breakdown. You can definitely see it. So I think that's a clear sign when you begin to notice that someone is just not themselves out of character. And I'm also a licensed mental health, therapist, so I look at those things like, just signs of, just signs of like depression or just always on edge. Those are those mental health symptoms, that will break a person down mentally because of the verbal and emotional abuse too.
I was thinking the same thing about always being on edge. Like, if you have to walk around on eggshells with that person,
right?
You never know when the next blow up is going to be. Like, there's always landmines around. That's like a really, really good sign that it's a toxic relationship. And then I even want to add in like the financial piece. Does he, or she, whatever, is there like this requirement, like total requirement to pay like your bills and, all that kind of stuff. Like, I already have my household to take care of. So you expect me to like take care of you to a certain extent. Also, like, we need to be strong and be independent, with one another, and when we come together and build together. But it's not necessarily about me building you up. Like, I realized that I was that person that, like Abby was saying, repeating. I go into these relationships where I feel like I need to build somebody up, right? And so I ended up doing like a vision board for 2 different guys. And when I realized it, I had one of the old guys in my room, or like in my living room, and I realized I did another one for another person. I said, "Oh heck no!" I totally like started changing, and like I have dated like 2 other guys, and to be honest, because every situation gives you a little bit more insight into like who or what, So after that, I was like, I'm not building anybody else. Like, they have to have their stuff together, and if they don't, like legit, if they don't, I will tell them, I'm not here to build you up. You need to go see a therapist or a counselor because that's not my job.
Yeah,
that's good. I just this is good. And when you were talking about, just making it seem like you have to walk on eggshells. I've been around people like that. Like, you just wasn't sure if you can say this, if they're going to get angry at this or not. And I just can't imagine being in a relationship with somebody like that. I guess because I haven't been in a relationship so long, I'm still in this fairyland that I'm like, look, we better have a lot more better days than bad days. Because if we constantly fighting and arguing and all this other stuff, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And I don't get it. That's why I'm trying to help me understand. Like, am I missing something? Like, it's crazy.
but if that's been normalized for you all your life, that's all you know. Right. So if you don't have anybody that's going to hold you accountable, that's going to tell you something different, you may think that that's just the normal, way to things. So then it becomes, like I said, a mental health, issue. Like, if they don't have a mom, a dad that's telling them, girl, you need to get out of there, a close friend, somebody to help hold them accountable and show that they care. They just walk around just thinking, that is normal and hoping for the best, out of it.
For the best.
Yeah. I think, like, for me, my mom is so, what's the word? Well, first of all, she probably knows that I'm going to need to bump my own head. So that's the first thing. She told me to get out of it. It probably wouldn't have went anywhere anyway. So her words were, you will always know when you had enough, right? And so she wouldn't say anything either way. She would just say, you will know when you've had enough. And I've even talked to somebody who had similar situations as me. So looking in, I could tell they were in a toxic relationship. I tried to mentor them through it, but they had to wait until they had enough, until they got out of it. So I think that's like the biggest thing is that And then also knowing the other side of it, I think sometimes we're attracted, like I'm talking about the love and hip hop thing. We're attracted to toxic relationships, right?
Oh my gosh! Come on, say it. Yes.
I'm dramatic, right? So John, sorry, I wasn't trying to say his name. My boyfriend right now, when he's not, right? And so like at first it threw me off so much because I'm like, he's not arguing about anything. Nothing's really upsetting him. I'm like, is this dude normal? This is not right. All this kind of stuff. And then I realized, like, it's over a year now. This is just who he is. And because of that, I've adapted. At first, I struggled because I'm like, does he even want to fight for me? All this kind of stuff.
That is crazy. Isn't it crazy the things we say?
But then I've adapted now. Like this past weekend, like we had a tip. If you want to call it a tip, it wasn't even a tip at all. Like literally,
compared to the tips you had, you like this is nothing.
So literally, it wasn't a tip at all. Something happened. I got upset. He needed to go to the store so he broke something. He needed to go to the store to replace it or whatever, and we were supposed to be going like together to do something. And I said, go to the store and give me a second to cool down. Or whatever, right? And so he was able to go to the store. I was able to cool down. By the time he came back, we're good. He did not argue. Like there's no argument in that, And like I already told you, Martinique, about that. Like as long as the person walks away for a second, I forgive like in 2 seconds. It's when we escalate. That's the problem.
And I know we actually just had a couple people just tune into the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. You are actually watching a show called New Level Relationships. And the purpose of this show is to help individuals have a better understanding of how to have a healthy relationship. Specifically, the individuals that's on these shows are Christian coaches and counselors. And so I invite them onto the show just so you can get practical advice on how to have the best relationship, the best Christian relationship possible. If you're not a Christian, what you waiting for? Jesus Christ is here for you. But with this show, you are able to get practical advice from Christian counselors as well as Christian coaches, relationship coaches. And so the topic that we're talking about today is signs you are in a toxic or unhealthy relationship. And we have Coach Abby here on the show, and we also have Regina on the show. Now, don't be hitting Regina up because she is not a Christian coach, relationship coach, but she is able to give you all her perspective of when she was in a toxic relationship, and maybe you guys can relate to her as well. So go ahead and share this video now. If you feel that you really resonate with Coach Abby, make sure that you visit her Wifey Boot Camp page and make sure you click on that like and follow. We also have Instagram pages. Make sure you follow us on there as well. And if you just feel like deep down in your heart, somebody just really needs to hear this, just make sure you just go ahead and share this video with them now. So what are some red flags that individuals should look out for while they're still dating or courting someone to really just eliminate being in an unhealthy or toxic relationship? What do y'all think?
I like what Regina said earlier. It just kind of goes back to what we just said, like just looking at those red flags. Going back to looking at if the person is being controlling, there's no healthy balance amongst the two of you all. If you're compromising, that's so important. If you're compromising on your values, beliefs, and goals, or if you're feeling like you're starting to change yourself. I mean, you're starting to change, right? So you're not the same person that you was. So if people are noticing a negative change, not a positive change, but a negative change, those are some things that you need to look out for. And then if you're, like we said, you're always on edge and just really just like tiptoeing, just trying to please a person, you don't know what's going to tick them off, then those are signs that you're not in a healthy relationship.
Yeah, That's good. And you know what? This book that I was reading is called Choosing God's Best. And that book's the author is trying to move the readers from dating to courting. And so the author was really just trying to encourage individuals to bring your potential mate around your family members because they can see those red flags, in a person. And something else that I was reading was just talking about if the person you are with like always tries to or sometimes act like they're playing, but they push you and they hit you and things like that. And so in the beginning they brush it off, and that was my situation. This huge guy. Now y'all, I know y'all see me on here, but I'm only 5'2". And and this was a huge guy, and he was pushing me like off of the sidewalk, and I asked him to stop. And he didn't stop. And I was looking back. You're like, he got those tendencies, And so, like, I feel like that's a red flag. If you ask the person that somebody you're with to stop doing something and they don't stop, like, what are you doing? So, but Coach Abby, can you, and this question is also going to be for you also, Regina. So can you just describe some of the characteristics of the unhealthy relationship that you used to be in?
Yeah, so it goes back to, just kind of goes back to me really compromising on what I knew wasn't right. So one of the, my value was I was going to wait, to marriage to have sex, and it didn't happen, right? So I was trying to please, my first boyfriend, and thinking, oh, we'll have sex and he'll marry me, and it didn't happen. So that was a sign of me being in an unhealthy relationship, and he began to control that relationship. At the time, me being innocent and losing my virginity to him, I became really emotionally attached, just trying to make this relationship work. So I was doing the things that he was doing, or pleading with him to come to church with me, or, do this, trying to make him come on my side. But because he had the upper hand, I was starting to change and do what he wanted me to do. So I even had friends in college. One particular person I'm thinking about was like, Abby, I don't even know who you are anymore, because I was always trying to follow up with him, trying to make this thing work. I gave it to him, so we have to get married.
Oh, that's right. Hey.
And it was never supposed to happen, right? It was never, supposed to happen. Even I, brought him around my family and friends. They liked him, but they knew that he wasn't who God, had for me. But it took me a while, because in my mind, I wanted this thing to work because I gave him something really important to me. And I was really, really trying to make this work, even though, I was doing all types of stuff just to try to please this man for us to walk down that aisle. So I'm thanking God, looking back, over 13 years ago, that didn't happen.
So before we move on to you, Regina, let me ask you, Coach Abby, what was your wake up call?
He cheated on me. That was the wake up call. Yeah, he cheated. And it was actually while I was away doing an internship in Florida. And so he, that's how it happened. Because I was still trying to make this thing work long distance, still trying to, keep it going. But that was actually the wake up call. So I don't know if it didn't happen. I don't know. It maybe it would have been a different story. But that actually happened for me as a way to escape from the relationship.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And I think that one thing that is commendable, and not saying like if you decide to stay with somebody that cheats on you and you guys work it out, that's great.
Yeah.
But you know how some people accept that other person in the relationship because they really want to be with somebody. Um, and that's what I want people to, that's like the point of this show also. Like, you are not, everybody's saying living their best life. You're not living your best life, when it's a threesome like that, and it's just like, you deserve so much more. If nobody has ever told you that, you deserve more, And so we got a couple comments. So author April says, I commend you ladies because dating is hard. If I wasn't married, I would definitely be single. Spirit Ireland. Okay, we're gonna hold her question. We're gonna let you comment first, Regina, and then we're gonna go to your question, Spirit. And Justin Jones also said we need more examples of positive, God-fearing relationships. That's why you watching the show, so you can see it up front and live. So, Regina, what are some of the characteristics of the unhealthy relationship that you used to be in? I know that you said that he was controlling, but if you want to like elaborate on that, like what does that controlling look like, or other characteristics?
I'll tell you, actually, it wasn't the only relationship that I was in that was toxic. That's the only relationship that I would consider to be abusive, right? The other one was toxic, but not necessarily abusive. And this happened to me probably more than one time, but especially one person who doesn't exactly claim you, right? So you're together, you're doing all these things, you're having sex, all this kind of stuff, but this person still doesn't claim you, So that's one thing that you have to pay attention to, who they have around, that type of thing. When do they show you attention? When do they not show you attention? When you ask them specifically, what is our relationship status? If they don't answer you with a specific answer, you need to know that, like, they're playing you.
Yeah.
They're playing you because it's like, so I talk about, a lot of people like talk about, Steve Harvey and Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. He dropped like a lot of gems in that book. If you actually listen to it, like he'll talk about some stuff that like really men, they actually do, they profess you. If they're actually in a relationship with you, they'll provide for you. They'll try to protect you. Like all those things happen when they're actually in a relationship with you and when they're in love, right? The other person, the signs were controlling. Like I said, what to wear. I couldn't go to Zumba anymore because Zumba is other men that there are men that are playing there or whatever. And that was the one that I attributed to myself because at one point I had said how I like attention from other guys or whatever, and because of that statement, but really because of his insecurity, he was like, well, I don't want you going to Zumba anymore and all this kind of stuff or whatever. So then it was like, okay, you can't go to Zumba. Like I said I think I talked about the clothes, and then it was also, if something happens to me, I would expect for you to be able to cover, my rent or whatever,
What?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
If something happens to me, like meaning if I die, then I want you to cover my rent. What is he saying?
Like if I work, like he had health issues, so if I'm not able to work, for this period of time, then I want you to actually cover my rent for me. And then if I'm like, no, that's not cool. You're like, well, my friends, the people who I ain't even, in a relationship with, they'll take care of it and blah, blah, blah.
Like, put them on speed dial.
Right.
When we went out, it was more that I had to pay because he didn't necessarily have the money, all the time. Like, it was a lot of different things or whatever. And, like, part of it, I knew, part of it was partially because of what I wanted. The other part was him, because there's always two sides to this story, right? So when you're in a toxic relationship, you're in that relationship because you're allowing yourself to be in this relationship. So it can't be all he did this. No, I allowed myself to stay in these situations and go along with it. Like I would see something that he wanted, one day, I would say, hey, let's go get this and let's buy this where you want it. So then he'd say, oh, you know what, I want something different now. Let's use the money for something different. Like, no, this is a gift for you based on something that you've been looking for. It's like, that's why I call it financial abuse between the rent and all this kind of stuff, just it was bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The good things, like I said, we were emotionally trying to get, if they blow up and you don't know why they're about to blow up or whatever, like things happened after we broke up. And I was like, I'm so happy that we weren't together at this time, because if I would have said the wrong thing with something else totally out of our control, happened. If I would have been, then it would have been my fault. He would have totally blown up on me. I wouldn't have been sensitive, like all these types of things. Like that was the type of stuff that happened. You know, in the course of 3 years, you have a lot of things that happen. You know.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing, y'all. So Spirit Ireland says, and Coach Abby, if you could just answer this for us. How do you know if the person is rebounding from a bad relationship?
How do you know if the person is rebounding from a bad relationship? Well, if there's no change in that person, and let me back up. You have to look at the timing, right? So if you just break up with somebody today and then you in a relationship a week later, that's a rebound relationship because you didn't take time to heal. You didn't take time to really, think about, what can you do differently or what happened, and how can I go about doing things differently? That's a rebound. So it's important that that time, there's a lapse in time there to really, understand who you are and what you learned, in that relationship. And then the second thing too, that comes back if you're still going into a relationship with the same patterns, right? With the same behaviors, with the same patterns, with the same mindset, then what have you learned? You're just continuing to keep going on in this negative cycle. So I hope I answered that correctly, if that's what Spirit was asking.
Yeah, and if she's, because another way that I was also thinking about is maybe she was asking it also in the way of, if I'm dating a guy, how do I know that he's, just came out of a bad relationship?
Oh, I see. Well,
you let us know. You let us know, Spirit.
Okay.
Spirit, you let us know. Are we getting close? What you asking? But go ahead and answer that for me, Coach Abby.
Okay, so that's when you really have to ask the right questions, right? So, I talk about in my Wifey Bootcamp program, there's certain type of questions that you need to, ask before you even go on the first date. So you just shouldn't be dating and be in a relationship with just any guy that asks you, oh, can I go out on a date? No. Like let's see where you at, first is, and then we'll decide if, your date appropriately or if we can take this further. So Spirit is really all about you, asking those questions and really understanding if he's a rebound, then you make that decision based on what now, if he's, lying or not being truthful, then you still have to continue to keep looking out for those signs.
And one of the reasons why I enjoy doing these shows is because my mom, she always told me, like, just growing up and even now, she's like, why do you ask so many questions? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to know. But don't be afraid to ask these guys and females questions. Like, you have to get to know these individuals. And I don't want to make it sound like, don't be, a reporter, but like, please don't get offended when I ask you something deeper about what you just said, because if it's not making sense, if it's not adding up, then the truth is going to come out.
Right.
It's going to come out. But Coach Abby, how could you as a relationship coach really just help an individual or couple that's in an unhealthy relationship?
Yeah, so really just first of all, understanding those underlying struggles, right? What were those triggers? What were those things that, really attracted you, to being in a healthy relationship, like we talked about earlier in the show? Was it how you grew up? Was it something that, you seen? What was it that attracted you into that relationship? And even if it wasn't unhealthy at first, what made it become unhealthy?
That's good.
Right? Maybe it wasn't healthy and the person started to change and you really didn't know. So really just understanding those triggers behind, the patterns that, lead into a healthy relationship. So really, after understanding those patterns and those triggers, they're really coming up with a plan on how to either exit the relationship, or marriage is so, it's tricky.
It is.
Marriage is a whole different, thing. So, date, if you dating, or even if you engage, you're not married yet. So it's easier for you to walk away, from that relationship, but when you talk about marriage, there's so much, you have to ask and assess whether or not it's even healthy for you to even stay in that situation.
And like I said before, Coach Abby's contact information is in the description box. So if you just want to continue this conversation with her, just let her know where you saw her at. Just say, hey, I saw you on the show. But if you are a married person and you are in a toxic relationship, reach out to Coach Abby, because I know that can get really touchy, because we're not about promoting divorce or anything. So, I'm not even going to ask Coach Abby, well, what should I do?
Right.
But because you're going to be having so many people calling that 1-800, give me a quick divorce. I know we touched on like how the individual grew up, and so many times we see these women and men in these unhealthy relationships that's parents. Can you just talk to viewers about the effects of them being in these unhealthy relationships and their kids just seeing it, because it can possibly continue that cycle of when their kids growing up and getting into unhealthy relationships? What y'all think?
Yeah, it's not healthy. When I was a child and family therapist back in my old job, when I would go into the homes and deal with at-risk adolescents, I'm talking with the parents and they're like, oh, he shouldn't be smoking weed or he shouldn't be drinking alcohol. But I'm like, you doing it in front of him. I mean, what you expect? So in order for him or her to stop getting high or drinking or skipping school, there's some things that you have to change because they're, watching you. And I don't think the parents understand. It's sometimes their attitude is like, I'm grown, or, this is, how I do, or, but they don't understand that they're passing those things down, to their children. So you can't get mad at that they're doing the same things, getting in these unhealthy or toxic relationships. So I think it's so important for parents to really, pay attention and ask especially if you're like a single mom, right? And you're bringing a new guy around your kid. You really have to make sure that you're asking those questions to make sure if this is really a healthy relationship that can lead into marriage, that you trust this man to be around, your kids.
That's a whole nother show. That is.
I know.
Even understand what they're passing down.
Yeah.
Repeat that first part again, Regina, for me. What did you say?
Parents always understand what they're passing down. So, like my mom and my stepdad, they weren't very affectionate in front of us. Not saying they didn't love each other. They also didn't argue in front of us, right? And so I did not know how to have like a healthy argument with the person. Like I would just like in a relationship, sometimes I would just like fall back or just get quiet and just like say, okay, I don't need to say anything, because I wasn't used to seeing like arguments in the house. Like I remember the first time they had like a big argument in front of me, like I was out of college and I thought they were gonna get a divorce. Like because like I had never seen it before. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna get a divorce. But like my mom tends to be like the caretaker and decision maker and all that kind of stuff for their household. And I feel like she carries a lot of the weight. So in one of our relationships, I said, you know what? I can carry a lot of this weight, she can do it. But then I was like, but what if that's not what I want? What if I don't want to carry the weight of the relationship? And the other thing with my dad being out of the picture, when he came back in the picture, I realized how much I had missed from, because my stepdad didn't get involved that much. He was more like, I'm going to protect you if somebody's going to do something wrong. But he didn't get that, extremely involved in like telling you what you should expect from a man, right? And so when my dad came back, he like put these new things in my brain, which were good things. Like my dad took care of my lawn. My dad made sure, all this kind of stuff is done. He dated me, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now you have these guys' expectations, but until you have that as a woman, you let a lot of stuff fly. But when my dad came back and he showed me how a man should really be treating me, like that changed the game a lot.
That's good. Mm-hmm.
See, you men, that's why it's important that you be in your daughters and your son's life. Just because so they can begin to see the example. And if you know that you have certain characteristics that you possibly need to change, I really encourage you to reach out to a coach or a counselor, because it's not only affecting yourself, but it's affecting your offspring, as well, because they need you. So, huh?
Mm-hmm. One more thing too, because I know a lot of times men take the brunt of like toxic relationships and stuff like that. But women are very toxic. Women can be extremely toxic also, and so I don't want men to always feel like it's on them. What's happening? Like women hit, women provoke, women use money. Like they do a lot of things that are toxic also. And so, men need to have a safe place because, they're supposed to be strong and emotionally strong. But they need to have a safe place, too, and recognize signs when women are also being toxic, to them because they need it. And I know we don't give enough attention to what happens within the men and the emotional side of things, which is like other things start to happen. But they go through, all these ridiculous relationships, and it may come out in a rap song. I don't want to go there, you know what I mean? But
right.
They have,
right.
So
Yeah,
that was good.
Point.
Yeah. And I don't want to make you guys think that, I don't want y'all to think anything that y'all thinking negatively. How about that? But if you do feel that, because I've had male coach on the show, he's actually a counselor, a Christian counselor. But just send me a message on inbox. I can send you his contact information if you would like to just really talk to somebody about like maybe just different things. And so Spirit did follow up and she said, yes, that's exactly what she meant. The person kept referring to what his ex did. So I'm really glad that we hit the nail on the head, Spirit. But why should someone get out of an unhealthy relationship? What's the why? They doing okay. They know that every Wednesday they're gonna have this argument. So what's the benefit? Help me get out this. I don't see a problem with it. It's normal.
And that's the thing. You have to change that thought pattern. And so if their thought pattern is going to be the same, then there's not going to be any benefits to them, to get out of the relationship. So if it's providing stability to them, if it's providing consistency to them, maybe they didn't have that in their previous life, but knowing they're going to fight every Wednesday, knowing he go buy her the same outfit if that's providing her the stability and the consistency, then it's really a deeper issue, so it really takes a lot of mindset shifts, a lot of spiritual, coaching on really, pulling that person back away from that situation to help them to understand that you can still have stability, but this is how stability looks in a healthier manner.
Mm-hmm. Abby, can I ask you a question? Do you think that it's possible for what's toxic for one person to not be toxic for someone else?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what I was thinking too, because different people have limits,
Right.
Like, I know that we know people, we look in, we're like, in our brains, that's abusive, that's controlling, that's, all those types of things. But for them, it could be perfectly fine and normal for their relationship because they're okay with it and that's their
Yeah.
dream.
It gets frustrating, but you have to learn, like you said, Regina, to take a step back and let them, be tired enough to get out. Some women or men, never get tired of it. This is the life that they choose.
Like me, I tell people flat out because I'm single, and I don't know if I would be the same way if I was married. Like people are like, well, why didn't you say something? Because I don't get married folks. I am a Christian. I stood up at your wedding. I don't really believe in divorce unless, cheating and all this kind of stuff, or you're unsafe and all this kind of stuff. So I try not to get in the middle of people's relationships. And like I said, if this is what's okay for you, it's not my place to actually say something. Like, I'm not here to stir the pot and stir fire for something that you're good with.
Yeah.
So let me ask y'all this. Just looking back on the unhealthy relationships that y'all were in, let me ask you first, Coach Abby, how long was that relationship that you was in 13 years ago? How long was it?
It was about 2 years, but that was just the example I gave. But after that breakup, I was continuously in unhealthy relationships. But I chose that one because that's who I actually lost my virginity to, and I feel like that was the most emotional one I was attached to. Yeah.
So how did you, like, what steps do you take to prepare yourself in getting out of these unhealthy relationships? And let's stir up the pot. Let's start with you, Regina.
It depends. I think a lot of times you have an idea already. Like you start to make that decision. Like people say that women leave relationships 3 months before they actually leave the relationship. So in your brain, you already started making this decision. Like, this isn't working out. You already started withdrawing, that type of thing. And for me, like the final draw with my relationship was, I was trying to make this decision. It was so hard for me because, so many different things. And I was on the phone, literally, he was downstairs. I was on the phone talking to my mom and I was crying on the phone to her. And she was like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I will tell you one thing. Don't let anybody make you think that you're less than who you are or whatever. And that statement stuck with me. And that statement was literally the turning. I literally went downstairs and like had the intention of breaking up with him. Then I looked in his face and was like, oh, do you think we can work it out? And then he said something else, which reaffirmed the situation, And when he said that, I said, nope. I was like, I'm going to have to leave this relationship.
Yeah.
Like all emotions turned off, like right there. It just was like,
wow.
Yeah.
That's something, ain't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what about you, Coach Abby?
Well, I like what Regina said. She talked to her mom. So I think whatever plans that you have, I think the first step is seeking accountability and support because you need that accountability to have someone to help you follow through that plan. So I encourage anyone that's in a toxic and unhealthy relationship not to try to do this on your own because it'll be easier for you to get dragged back, into it again. But once you let someone in, like that coach, that counselor, that friend, that family member, let them in on what you're trying to do so they can be a support to you. They can be accountability to you. I think that's that first step. And then you kind of go from there as far as how to leave.
Could you be a person that they call, if they wanted to get out? I'm thinking of the movie, and I never even seen it, but I just thought of the time.
Yeah, so since I specialize in single ladies, yes, if you're in a toxic or unhealthy, relationship, that's something that, we can, talk about because you have to end that relationship if you really want to prepare for the man that God has for you. Because if you're in a toxic and unhealthy relationship, that's not God ordained. It's not God ordained. So if you're ready to break free from that and position yourself to meet your husband, yes, they can call me.
No, that's right. And all of her contact information is in the description box. I did all the work for you. Okay, what was you about to say, Regina?
I was going to say too, like, I would encourage it, especially knowing that she's a licensed mental health professional. Like, one of the things that has helped me with my relationship that I'm in right now, you know, is I go to a counselor almost every week. You know, and we deal with a lot of issues in life, but one of the issues that we deal with is my relationship. You know, sometimes my commitment issues, like how I'm used to being in toxic stuff, you know, and changing like some of those thoughts and those behaviors, because it's really hard to do on your own. But if you have somebody that's there, that's walking with you, you know, it's a lot easier, because you may know the issue, but you don't necessarily always have the tools.
Yeah, there you go.
That's good. Yes. I'm telling you, better hire Regina, Coach Abby. I know, right? But Coach Abby, I do have a question for you, because I know that you talked about the guy that you lost your virginity to, but you said that you continued being in these toxic relationships. How did you get out of that path then of toxic relationships?
Yeah, I was just, I got tired of seeing myself fall for the same type of guy and doing the same type of things over and over again. So I knew that I wanted to get, you know, married. I knew I wanted to start a family. And so I knew that, you know, what I was doing was not, you know, the right way. So I got to the place of being tired, getting older, you know, and things were not, you know, working for me. So I had to, you know, first, you know, really ask God to forgive me for leaving him out on all these relationships that I was in, and really seek the help and support and accountability to get back on track.
Definitely.
My one piece of advice for people, a lot of times, this is going to sound crude and rude or whatever, and I said it on the other, you know, on the book study, Martinique, but is to not get emotionally attached in the beginning.
In a week?
Huh?
Did you say not to get emotionally attached to somebody in a week?
In the beginning.
In the beginning,
so
okay.
Into every situation as if they're just a person. Like, don't even, you know, you start talking and you know how you like, a person like me would start talking to somebody and I start shutting every other opportunity out just because I liked that person, you know, the most. No. Like, I actually started talking to multiple people on purpose, like, because we're just talking, in order to keep me from being emotionally attached to a person, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to shake out into what. So if you don't allow yourself to get attached to this person, and I'm transparent about it, you know, like, are you dating just one person? No, you know, right now, you know, I am actually talking to multiple people, you know, and this, it gives you more control over your emotions and your feelings, and then you have a clearer head to make better decisions.
Yeah,
definitely. Definitely. And I just want to just direct you guys that's watching the show on Facebook. So author April, she made a statement, and it says, women are born with the gift of intuition. Being a caseworker for domestic violence, I've learned a lot about abusive men and women. Ladies are abusive and vindictive as well. Ask the hard questions on the first date. The individuals that you bring around your children will affect them mentally for the rest of their lives. It is difficult to break barriers when our culture don't believe in seeking therapy. And it started with Big Mama and them. This is a very hard topic. All of my cases are stemmed from childhood issues that never got addressed. That's good, author April. So how can a family member or friend help or support somebody that's in an unhealthy relationship? Should they just back off and they like, okay, that person will eventually get tired of it? Or do you feel like they should step in? What do y'all think they should do?
I think, go ahead. Yeah, I think they should just provide support, you know, check-in, if it's daily check-ins, weekly check-ins. I don't think that they should step away, you know, because any abuse is bad abuse, you know, mentally, emotionally, verbally, we know physical, so there should always be, you should always be on standby, or even if they're ignoring you or telling you to, you doing too much, keep doing too much.
Yeah.
Because at least they know that somebody is there, somebody cares, when they're ready to make that plan to move, you will be the first person that they'll call.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I can tend to be like a tough love person, but I think when it comes to tough love, you have to know who you're talking to. Because everybody can't take like the tough love stuff. But like I have one person who I know goes in and out of like the relationship. They'll be with the person, they won't be with the person. They'll, be intimate with the person, but still not in a relationship. Then they'll tell me about what the person did or whatever. And I'll literally say, well, it's your fault. You let them there.
Yeah.
But
oh
that's
because
that
maybe you shouldn't hire Regina, Coach Abby. Don't hire
that person, who I know specifically.
Yeah.
We've had conversations about, okay, this is what you need to do for this person because it's their person, they have a child, all this kind of stuff. So like, how do you maintain that parental relationship with the child, but not walk back into the toxic relationship with that person or whatever? And so if you're having a lonely day and then suddenly you let that person back in, because you're lonely that day, and then they start acting crazy again. They showed you for 2 years that they're crazy. And let this loneliness. So I'll say, well, why'd you do that? And so on and so forth. Because it's no longer I rubbed you on your back for long enough. Yeah. So now it's about taking accountability for some of the decisions that you actually make yourself. Sometimes people just have good hearts, and sometimes you have to let them say. You have to get past the emotion of having a good heart and trying to help somebody change once again, and just say, for the sake of myself, I can't even try to help this person out.
Yeah, I like that, Regina. Don't burn yourself out emotionally trying to help this person, right? You can only do, so much, right? So you still have to have a healthy balance between, because you don't want to end up in an unhealthy relationship. Right, with that person. So you still have to have a healthy balance. And at some point, you just got to give it over to the Lord. I mean, give it completely over to the Lord and just say, Lord, protect them. Only you can change their heart, So don't go crazy and don't, lose your life and yourself and start changing up, doing you because you're trying to save and protect this person. Because then you're finding yourself in an unhealthy relationship.
And that is so true, because I know sometimes when I talk to people, I'm all worked up. This is their relate. This is their relate. I'm like, what am I? And they over there calm. I'm like, hey, this is wrong.
Yeah.
What am I stressing myself out for?
Right.
About my counseling. That's one of the things, because I'm like the mama bear savior person, It's my friend. I gotta go protect them. And something happened like late last year, and it was to my friend, and I almost jumped in, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
In my fight.
Yep.
I stepped right back because I know that I would have gotten so enthralled in it that it's like now I'm emotionally charged, and it's not even my issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it brings a good point that you can be in an unhealthy relationship with friends. That could be a toxic, relationship. So that's a good example. So you have to check yourself and am I in an unhealthy? What I'm doing, are my actions unhealthy? Yeah. Let me take a step back.
That's true. And really, what the moral of, I feel like, this question and answer is, be that supportive person, but have a balance in it all, and know when you need to step in and just really, ask that Holy Spirit to let you know when you need to intervene. But just be mindful of different things, and sometimes God does need to allow these individuals to go through things so they can just get that wake up call and say, you know what, enough is enough. I'm so done with these type of relationships. So we are almost at the finish line, and this person is like, you know what, I'm done. I'm so done with these unhealthy relationships. What does the healing process look like for a person that is no longer in an unhealthy relationship?
Wow, that can vary from person to person. You know, it depends on how long that person was in the relationship. It depends on the type of abuse. Um, it depends on the severity of the abuse. I think the healing process just, it varies from person to person, where it could take a person years, to actually become healed where they're ready to step out again, versus someone may take, a week to a month. I think the healing does start when they decide to leave.
That's good.
So that's the healing. That'll start. Now the process of healing, that depends on each person, but the healing start when they decide to leave.
And don't entertain their phone calls and texts. That is something that draws you back. Like when you get lonely, that's when it's like they know.
Yeah. But that's where that support and accountability come in too.
I blocked them on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, if I block you, then I can't get a text or anything from you.
That's right. That's right.
Personally, I am that. Oh, well, maybe, you kind of forget like what happened at the time. And that is another good point about healing too, is that accountability person that you have. Like mine, luckily I have a really good relationship with my mom,
Yeah.
I told her about one relationship and I was like, maybe I just messed everything up. And she was like, well, when you're in a relationship, that wasn't what you were telling me, blah, blah, blah. And so she had to take me back moments to make me remember why it was bad and why I left. But for me, I would also say that even though I've moved on to other relationships, I'm still healing from stuff from that relationship. You know what I mean? And so, like, there was something that just happened with me and my boyfriend this week, in regards to just like, whether or not I have a business partner, whether or not, can we hang out, this type of thing. And, it's a guy, he's older than me, like drastically older. I don't want to say drastic, but he's older than me, and I'm like, is it okay for me to even be like in the presence of another guy, outside of business? Because in my brain, I get like huge anxiety from that now. Like it's a trigger for anxiety for me because he was so controlling that anytime I talked to a guy, I felt like I was cheating on him, right? And so now with my, with my current boyfriend, I still feel that insecurity and that anxiety sometimes if I'm talking to, any other guy, and so like my boyfriend and I, we have to have a conversation. I feel like my boyfriend's response was like part of the healing that I actually needed for this situation to let that anxiety go.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because I'm just thinking about the relationships that you guys are in now. And I just like when I talk about to you all, the viewers, that, you owe it to yourself to be in a healthy relationship. You also owe it to that next person that you're going to possibly be in a relationship with. You don't want y'all's relationship to be one of their stories. You don't want them to, because this can really be a great relationship. That's why you really just need to take time and be alone and heal before you rush into another relationship. Because it's like you deserve and you owe it to yourself to be in a healthy relationship, but give yourself time to heal. And guess who can help you heal? Coach Abby can help you heal. So, Coach Abby and Regina, I just thank you guys so much for
being
on the show, and just Coach Abby sharing your expertise specifically with this topic, and also you, Regina, just for just letting us see a little bit of your life. And Regina, she got a good one. That's what I've heard. And so I want to thank you guys for just taking time to watch the show. Make sure you go ahead and share this video now. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram. All of our contact information is in the description box. And also make sure that you like and follow our Facebook pages and send us a friend request. You can send me a friend request if we're not friends, so you can always be notified of the different shows that I have. Also, when I'm looking for participants on the show, make sure you contact Coach Abby. You know, if you really was like, you know, man, she was solid. You know, she you know, make sure that you reach out to her and just talk to her. And so I do thank you guys again, and thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.